Tony, hi.
Hi.
It's good to see you. I'm aware that you are in your work partly employed, but also partly self-employed. So, how has the lockdown shaped your work?
Well, I lost a lot of work as soon as the lockdown came. I couldn't go to Denmark, which is very well paid and helps me. So, to be honest, my savings have really disappeared, and it's been quite a challenge.
Yeah, and that will be, resonated throughout the country for the self-employed people.
Yeah, and especially when you're partly employed and self-employed, because the government helps not balancing well in that area, so
Yeah.
it's pretty difficult.
Yeah. Now, content-wise, how have you remained as missional as ever and as hospitable as ever? Because both you and Tracy have got a big heart, your house is open. How have you continued to be missional even though there were limitations?
Well, first of all, some of the people I work with don't listen to limitations. They'll knock on my door and then I have to sit them outside in the garden and we have a drink and a chat. And so some of that, some people have learned to use Zoom and working through some simple booklets to keep things chatting. And when we go for our exercise along the canal or whatever, then we just chat with people about you never know what's going to happen in the world, and as a person of faith and stuff like that, it really just gives me something to hold on to. So I think you can use whatever opportunity you're given.
So how do you think it will change with all the ongoing limitations? How do you think it will change us in our mission?
Well, funny enough, I think that it may just help us get out of our buildings a little bit and meet our people next door. A young man, he died of cancer, to be able to talk to him and talk about prayer and, support from God. And go over the road in a wheelchair and go to his garden regularly. He's started to look up verses in the Bible. I think now people are really, really hungry for something more than they thought they could rely on in the past. So I see a bright future for the church.
Yeah, so even though there's no Sunday service to invite them back to, it's us being out and about in our whole week, really.
I think so, yeah, and especially with our neighbours, because I've heard several people say how much they've grown a deeper relationship with their neighbours.
Yeah. So has there been a highlight for you in this lockdown time?
Well, like anybody else, I've been through some difficult weight-bearing times, and particularly quite recently, and I was a bit burdened and a bit depressed actually, and I got up early one morning and watched a couple of preachers, Tim Keller and John Piper, both of them about the gospel, and the way that they spoke about how the gospel is already done, finished, and it's something we can take from outside and bring in and stand upon, and it just gave me a different way of carrying that burden. It lightened it. It was as if something of Christ was there, and that was a very special time for me, and it was very useful, and you can use it in the future.
Absolutely. Once the lockdown is being lifted, it helps you to carry it in a way yoked with Christ. Now, has there been any scripture which has really spoken to you in this time?
Well, I wouldn't say a particular scripture, but there are a couple of scriptures that I always hold on to that really help me. The first one is, look to the hills, look up, look to God, always, even though it seems like he's nowhere to be seen. And the second thing is, always give thanks, even if it's through tears, through pain, through emptiness. There is something special and spiritual that can take you over the toughest areas with those basic little habits that I've formed over the years. So for me, it's those that I rely on.
Now, Jem spoke this morning really about coming out of lockdown and the gifts that we have and being the ambassadors. Is there anything particularly which resonated with you or what you look forward to?
I think that Jem spoke wonderfully actually. He's a very good teacher. But one of the things that I really liked was when he talked about being a witness. Because some people are almost afraid to witness because they think they don't know enough. But God just wants us to witness on what we want to witness, what we have in our lives, our relationship with him. Somebody once says to me, The thing is, Tony, I don't know much about God, but when I do, he said, I just find going to church gives me all that I need. And that was his witness.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. And you are an
pleasure.
example of what you have just spoken about. So thank you.